I'm taking careful, copious notes on all of this. Talk a little bit about how you choose. I know you've made one album and you're halfway through another one, soon to be finished. And I'm interested in how you choose the songs that you put on your albums, and maybe Shaidri will start with you on that.
Mostly, I mean, he's written so many songs. Really, for most of it, we just cull through the catalog and pick out the songs that I like best.
So you have the veto power? Is that the way it goes?
I have veto power, yeah.
We both have veto power.
But he
We
does too.
have to agree that we want to do a song.
Yeah.
You know, together, both of us.
But if he wrote them, one assumes that maybe he likes them okay. And so then we pick the ones that also work and that the chords are not too challenging for me to play. And what else? And then some of the songs we've done are just songs that are old, traditional folk songs that I grew up listening to.
There's stuff from old English ballads and, 50s American country music and older bluegrass music and Celtic stuff.
Do you encounter songs that you both really like, but they aren't particularly suitable for your voices?
It's more about the style we play and whether we can get them in there. The voices you can usually find somewhere that you can deliver a song. Basically, I write a bunch of songs and she gets first choice and first veto on the whole list. And she decides if these are Hank and Shaidri songs or Andrew and Hank can have these songs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them is pretty clear. We do some of the material that's on the Aha album,
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it was really better suited as a record to do it with Andrew, which he considers acoustic folk rock as opposed to, I think, we're folk musicians basically.
So I should at least introduce that. Hank, you've done a separate album with Andrew Harden, and that's mostly your songs.
I wrote 9 of the 10 songs.
Yeah.
This visit, it's become obvious that Shaidri is achieving a high level and of quality and a pretty surprising quantity of material. We have a whole bunch of Shaidri songs that are getting brushed by the microphone this trip. It's really exciting for me. She's been holding out on me, obviously, for decades.
So talk about that a little bit, Shaidri. I mean, is that true? Have you been holding out on him musically? And how do you feel about bringing your compositions into to the public, basically?
It's kind of terrifying, so I think that's why I just haven't done it for a long time.
Terrifying because of what the songs reveal, or just because it's an exposure? I mean, as a writer, I know the terror that you're talking about.
I think it feels a little bit like reading your journal out loud to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't journal for a reason because I think that sounds like a terrible idea. So, yeah, I've sort of avoided that for a long time.
But it's starting to feel more comfortable?
No, I just decided to do it anyway. We can edit this out, right?
Yeah, Ryan is the master editor.
Yeah. No, I just decided it was time and I should just...
Well,
I think you should do scary things, so that's why.
So that's a perfect segue for the next question. You and Hank, you've been singing with Hank all your life, your entire childhood, and then at some point you transitioned into a professional relationship with him as a singer, as a duo, and so on. How scary was that?
Honestly, professionally working with him was pretty easy. He's a highly qualified side guy. And what was the first thing we played? With Dave Johns and you, maybe at Morning Thunder?
Yeah.
Singing.
Oh, the first thing we played was just you and me at Morning Thunder, because you were so nervous it terrified me. But,
Yeah.
And then when they opened Words and Music here at Sarah Sunrise. That's when Dave came,
Right.
and he and I accompanied you.
Yes. But no, he's mostly pretty easy to work with as a side guy. The price is right.
So, Hank, as a songwriter, what inspires you?
You know, people in their relationships and my own part in those, and then for a long time, the world and the planet and our environment, space we live in, and how we deal with it. And, in fact, that part of it just keeps sneaking in to the songs. I'll be working on some song and it's ostensibly, maybe it's a love song or some other story, and then all of a sudden a verse shows up that's about, those kinds of issues. I don't write well. This is an embarrassing thing to say. But I do not write songs well intentionally very often. Maybe 1 out of 10 of those will pass muster. And I got to the point where I just decided, why write a shitty song when you could spend the time becoming a better musician? And when a good song shows up, you'll be a better musician for that song when it comes.
Because the song that you write induces you to play better? Is that what you're saying?
It's more like I write songs, lots of them compared to a lot of folks, but I don't see myself as a songwriter. I see myself as a musician, and that happens to be a subset of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a type of composition.
Mm-hmm. Is that true for you too, Shaidri?
Yeah, I've never written a song on purpose. I just write them down if I really have to.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, I try to avoid it at all costs.
And I'm interested in, given that you both don't think of yourselves as songwriters, but you both write songs, I'm interested in how, do the lyrics come first? Does the music come first? Do they come together? I would guess that's sort of a blessed moment if they do, but talk about that a little bit.
For me, it's always words and lyrics at the same time, and almost always a chorus, maybe one verse. It's like half a song is just appears.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to work for the second half of it.
True?
Yeah, that happens, and then it's remarkably random in my case. I'll be playing something along and something will happen instrumentally that triggers something, and something will come out my mouth. A line will come out my mouth. It's not, I really don't understand the process, and I've come to appreciate that the process works better if I do not try too hard to understand it. Maybe it doesn't want to be understood. Sometimes songs show up, the whole thing is done. Here's the music, the chords, all the lyrics, it's done, it's less than 10 minutes, boom. And other times it's years in the making of trying to find that word, that line. Sometimes it's an instrumental piece that's been around for years of mine, and then I stumble on some lyrics that never had any music, and I realize those two go together well. And sometimes it's a bunch of words looking for a melody. But Shaidri's line is the best. I don't write a song unless I have to. It's where it just won't leave you alone. It becomes a obsessive compulsive distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty useless. I am for other things when that's going on. I start off washing the dishes and then I get a surprising number of ideas when I'm doing menial tasks, splitting wood, sweeping floors, washing dishes.
Well, that's the Zen way, isn't it?
I guess. And there's a line, and I've learned that I got to get the line. I have to write it down because I won't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I drive my hands, I go and write a line down and go back to washing dishes, and I'm not thinking about it. The next line shows up. It takes forever to wash the fucking dishes.
There you have it. There you have it. So once you have a song and you bring your song to Shaidri or vice versa, do you tinker with it then? Do you tinker with chords, or do you tinker with harmonies? What when you get to that stage, how does that dynamic work?
Well, she'll point out areas where there could be a better word, or she'll keep me from changing to a worse word, thinking I'm improving a song. The music's usually set, you know. There may be lyrical changes on my end. My music is usually set.
And then if he's singing lead, I will, play around with and develop harmonies, just work up
Yeah,
harmonies.
that's a routine part of it, the harmonies, searching through the harmonies. Plenty of people can just, they hear a melody, now they're going to sing a harmony. It's going to be a third all the way through. It's going to sound great. But you miss some opportunities for counter melodies and shifts away from a standard sort of harmonic pattern. And that's where a lot of power and inspiration comes from, I think, when you're singing together.
I've heard some songs that that you've written that I've heard you sing solo, but when you sing with Shaidri is the lead singer, and is that just a manipulation that becomes obvious when you start working with the music together?
Those are just the songs that I decide to steal.
Okay. Well, maybe we should stop the interview and hear some of the music. What do you say?
Okay, yeah, we could.
Brian?
When the lupins bloom in the high Sierra, and the mountain springtime paints the meadows green, I'll think of you with every blossom, a measure of the miles that lie between two restless hearts calling out across fleeting time and space. Restless hearts longing to reach out and touch the other's face. We know the day will come, all this traveling will be done. We'll no longer be so far apart, two restless hearts. Money grows on trees and vines and bushes, in rows and furrows scattered o'er the land. And the market pulls while the grower pushes, and a field hand struggles just to meet demand from those working in air conditioning or enjoying their vacation holidays, while the middleman takes the fruits of labor, and then he's the one to tell you how it pays. Two restless hearts calling out across fleeting time and space. Restless hearts longing to reach out and touch the other's face. We know the day will come, all this traveling will be done. We'll no longer be so far apart, two restless hearts. And the mountain springtime turns the meadows green, I'll think of you with every blossom, a measure of the miles that lie between.
That's old grandfather told me that's the Peter one.
Yeah.
2, 3.
Where the broad Savannah flows along beneath the mighty sea, there stood a peaceful village that meant all the world to me. a home of happy people. I knew each and every one, all my kin and all the friends I love. The town was Ellington. And the military came one day to fill our hearts with woe. We'll study war right here, they said. The little town was bold. Then they came with trucks and dynamite. The din and dust rose high. I stood and stared in silence as I watched my hometown die. All the friends we'd known and loved will meet upon some other shore. But Ellington, that dear Ellington, is gone forevermore. Brought bulldozers to the school where children used to play. Pushed over all the trees we loved and scraped the flowers away. Now the homes are gone, the schoolhouse too. Sweat and toil of years, and with them all the hopes and dreams of past and future years. The little church was hauled away, the fields are brown and bare, and in their place a mighty plant they built the H-bomb there. And now the smoke hangs o'er the valley like a mist before my eyes. It's been there ever since the day I watched my hometown die. All the friends we've known and loved will meet upon some other shore. Ellington, fair Ellington, is gone forever. Ellington, fair